Hi, and welcome back to Tampa Bay Right Now. I would like to introduce Jim Dodson. Jim is a personal injury attorney and founder of Jim Dodson Law in Clearwater. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So first, tell us a little bit about yourself and your company.
I'm a native Floridian. I've lived in Florida all my life and have practiced here locally for more than 25 years and have my own firm in Clearwater. I represent, I'm a personal injury lawyer, so I represent all types of personal injury victims, but have a special passion really for bicycle accidents and pedestrian accidents.
And have you represented some of these cases before?
Oh, certainly.
Okay,
Yeah.
and tell us some facts about that. Is this a big thing that you see happening with injury?
Well, you know, sadly in Florida we lose about 120 cyclists a year die on Florida roads, and currently we have about 400 pedestrian deaths a year in Florida.
Wow.
As was mentioned earlier, you know, we have 4 of the top most dangerous metropolitan areas are in Florida nationwide for pedestrian deaths.
So how can we protect ourselves as pedestrians, as cyclists? What are some things we can do?
Well, I think one of the two things really. In Florida, there's not a culture of stopping for pedestrians by drivers. If you go to California, when someone steps off a curb, cars stop. They don't do that in Florida. Studies here have shown that you probably have a less than 50% chance that a car is going to stop for you in a marked crosswalk.
Really?
And that drops down to probably less than 20% at night. So what I see is so many people believe mistakenly that when they step off a curb as a pedestrian into a crosswalk, the car is going to stop. And that's simply not the case. You saw a minute ago flags.
Yes.
The sad reality is that you need to wave the flags to cross in a marked crosswalk on Gulf Boulevard to increase the chances that a car might stop for you.
Wow. So just stepping out is not even enough anymore.
No, you know, and pedestrians sadly are sometimes are distracted. You know, they have their radio on or they're texting just like they do when they're behind the wheel of a car. And, you know, there's the same danger that cyclists have because there's not too many motorists believe that they own the road. Sometimes law enforcement actually shares that same belief, that cyclists should stay to the right, get out of the way of the car. Too many motorists are impatient. They're not willing to believe the danger that they pose to a bicyclist, and that the cyclist ought to stay out of their way. And so this is where the conflict occurs, and that's why, sadly, so many accidents occur.
So if there's a cyclist or a pedestrian that gets hurt, what is the first thing that you think they should do, the first step they should take?
Well, you know, it depends on the nature of the injury, but you want to make sure that you get medical attention that you need, of course. You need to contact the appropriate insurance company, you know, your own if you're insured with no fault. You need to make sure law enforcement is contacted, the police report is done, the identity of the witnesses and the driver and everyone present. And I think one of the most important things that people can do if they're able to is to use their cell phone and take their camera and document the scene. Take photographs of your bicycle, take photographs of skid marks, and document everything that happened there, and don't necessarily rely on the police to do that because they don't always do it.
Is there insurance for bicyclists?
There is actually insurance for bicyclists, but another thing that people don't understand in Florida is the value of 2 insurances.
Okay.
The first is that your no-fault insurance, if you own a car, we're all required to have no-fault insurance, which is our personal injury protection.
Right.
It's going to cover you as a cyclist. It's going to cover you as a pedestrian if you're hit by a car. The other thing that you can do is you need to have uninsured motorist coverage on your own car, because 24% of the cars in Florida have no insurance.
Really?
Many of them have the minimums, and only a few have enough insurance to get you out of the emergency room. The most important insurance you can own is uninsured motorist coverage, because that protects you as a cyclist, as a pedestrian, for the cars that hit you, don't have insurance or don't have enough insurance. And that is one of the big messages that I preach, as to how to protect yourself against these drivers that do not have enough insurance to cover your own injuries.
And so people can just get in contact with you via your website?
We have, I have 3 websites actually. Jim Dodson Law, there's our pedestrian website, and we also have a cycling website, dodsonbicyclelaw.com. And I've written several consumer publications on bicycle safety, bicycle accidents, on pedestrian accidents, and as well on uninsured motorists, don't leave home without it.
And where would we find these?
On our website.
That's fantastic.
And they're free. We send them to the public. Our goal is to raise awareness, and not only to prevent accidents, but to make sure people know what to do when the unexpected happens.
And are you a cyclist yourself?
I am a cyclist.
That's great.
Mountain biking and road biking.
So the passion carries on, not just in
Exactly.
work, but also
Exactly.
in play. Well, thank you so much for being here and for
It's a
sharing
pleasure.
with us
Thank you
all
very
of your
much.
information. Thank you to all of our guests for joining us today. If you have any questions, comments, or would like more information about pedestrian and bicycle safety, you can visit our website at mytvtampabay.com. That's what's happening right now in Tampa Bay. I'm Allison Burns. See you next time. Good night.